Today we're honored to welcome Dr. Hester to the show today. I'm very excited to have her on. She talks about some amazing topics, right? And ultimately it's about taking your power back because a lot of us, we are disempowered in our health. It doesn't have to be like that. We have so much agency over our health and wellness. And as long as we take these decisions on a day-to-day basis, we can actually see a whole world of possibilities. She's double board certified in internal medicine. She also talks about lifestyle medicine, which is very interesting. I'd like to get into that today. But ultimately, going to walk away with some takeaways we can do in our lives to be more empowered, right? Because as long as we can overcome ourselves and our paradigms, we can actually overcome our own health challenges and be a model in life for what's possible. So I'm very happy to have her on, share knowledge and insights with us today. So how are you today, Dr. Hester?
I am great. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So very curious to hear your story and how you got into wellness and internal medicine. How are you being of service today?
Well, I got into wellness. My dad was a doctor, my older brothers are doctors. So I've been a doctor for decades. But over that time, I saw so much unnecessary suffering and death. It's just gut wrenching. And one of the worst things is pronouncing somebody dead from a disease that could have been prevented, treated, or even reversed. And now we know that there are so many things that we can do differently. I am an internist by training, internal medicine doctor, i.e., a kid gets sick, they see a pediatrician, an adult gets sick, they see the internist, internal medicine doc. But over the past few years, I pivoted and now I'm more focused on how can we prevent this in the first place? Instead of just prescribing a pill once it happens, what does the research show that we can do to prevent it? So lifestyle medicine is an emerging field, is sweeping the globe. Now it's available in over 57 countries. And the American Medical Association put out a resolution years ago. You doctors need to learn and apply lifestyle medicine because the data is that compelling. Most doctors know very little about lifestyle medicine, like less than 1% of us are board certified in America, and much less than that around the world. But it's starting to pick up steam. So I'm happy about that.
God, that's amazing. So, because once we start to see patients and people in general just get results in our lives, it's very rewarding in a sense. And you start to become passionate about it. 'Cause, hey, you actually see this is possible. And what you thought was impossible is actually not possible. And it can be very interesting experience, right?
Absolutely. You make a good point. What you thought was not possible is possible. When I was in medical school, the thought of putting type 2 diabetes into remission, getting people off of their pills, maybe their insulin, reversing the progression of kidney disease that could have ended up in dialysis, that was like the Jetsons, like sci-fi. But now we know how to do that in a lot of people. And that's only the tip of the iceberg. All of this is natural. No pills required.
Yeah, that's a special thing about it, right? Just taking back your agency and your power. And it's in our hands. Like, we don't have to rely on these external things, like they have their place sometimes. But ultimately, as you mentioned, it comes down to our day to day decisions and
Yes.
ultimately what our biology requires of us, right? It's like we're designed to be healthy. We actually have to get out of the way oftentimes.
I like that.
So, we mentioned lifestyle medicine. Can you describe what that is and how we can actually implement that in our own lives today?
So lifestyle medicine is an emerging field of medicine that is based on literally decades of research on ways to prevent, treat, and potentially reverse diseases naturally. So there are six pillars of lifestyle medicine. Number one is a whole food plant predominant diet. That doesn't mean that you can't ever have a piece of meat. It means most of your plate needs to be from the ground. Half of the plate, for instance, fruits, non-starchy vegetables, maybe a quarter of the plate, healthy meat, healthy protein, and the other quarter, something like sweet potatoes or something like that. So the vast majority of your food comes from the ground instead of the other way around. Steak is the mainstay, and you have two little broccoli florets on the side. So it flips the status quo. And so we're more focused on eating the rainbow. And a lot of people have heard that. But just imagine that you have a puzzle with 1,000 pieces and somebody comes in and takes out all but the four corners and two sides. It's never going to be complete. The rainbow colors, they signify something. You're not going to find the same nutrients in a yellow squash that you're going to find in green kale or red raspberries or an orange carrot. All of these different colors, they have different nutrients that fight this cancer or this cancer, prevent this or this. So when you put them all together and you have a plate that looks like the rainbow, then you're pulling from all of these things. So you're able to complete the puzzle for your health.
I'm glad you mentioned that because, like, these colors and things like that, they're basically indications of antioxidants, right? Essentially, the darker has more antioxidants. Doesn't necessarily mean better, but there's different types, right? It's very interesting to think about, and it's
Mhm.
very like you can learn about these things and kind of intelligently make decisions. So it's kind of cool to learn about that too.
So yeah, the antioxidants, the other plant-based nutrients that decrease your risk of cancer. I mean, all sorts of nutrients, the vitamins, the minerals, the cancer-fighting agents, all of these things, they're different in different fruits and vegetables. Also, you went nuts and seeds. So if it came from the ground, particularly if you're getting something, you may have heard of EWG's Clean 15 and Dirty Dozen. So I was
Yeah,
reading an article today. EWG.org is an excellent site to go to understand what you're putting in your body. You can even get an app. So when you're at the grocery store, you can find out what you get ready to purchase and if it's safe or not. Spinach is the vegetable that seems to be highest in these chemicals. So they have the Clean 15. So basically, organic food can be expensive. And if you can afford all organic, go for it. But a lot of us cannot. And so if you're going to divide up your money, your grocery shopping bills, do as much on the Clean 15 that does not have to be organic as you can, saving the money for the Dirty Dozen, like strawberries and potatoes and spinach and so forth. Try to get those organic. Because if you look at the amount of pesticides and chemicals in the Dirty Dozen, the 12 worst ones, worst offenders, and you compare it to the Clean 15, there's a vast difference. And so when you go shopping, know the Clean 15, know the Dirty Dozen. Again, ewg.org, and you can even get their app.
100%. Yeah, thank you for mentioning that because, yeah, when it comes to organic, like do as much as you can, but ultimately it's about
Mhm.
progress, not perfection, right? It's not about doing all these things and just like,
Mhm.
hey, it has to be like this. But if you can do it right, but then learning about the ones that are very important to get, that's
Mhm.
when it comes to Clean 15, Dirty Dozen. So again, like these little things can really make tiny improvements in our health and wellness. So it's cool to know.
Absolutely. They add up over time.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, it's all about that progress, right? And so when it comes to lifestyle medicine, if you want to just start that today, like just take those small steps, what would we do today in order to get that going?
I would say change your plate. So lifestyle medicine is based on a whole food plant-based diet, meaningful movement. That doesn't mean you have to run a marathon. Social connections, which actually release a hormone that counterbalances cortisol that can cause a lot of damage to your body. You have stress reduction, avoidance of toxic substances, and restorative sleep. So those are the 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine. And of all of those, my personal favorite, if you're going to do one today, focus on your diet because your diet does so much. If you can have a meal that decreases your risk of cancer, decreases your risk of a fatal heart attack, decreases your risk of all sorts of things, even depression, then that is something quick that you can do. Get in the habit of doing that every day. A good diet is good for your gut microbiome. So the gut is like your second brain. A lot of people have heard about Prozac and Paxil and all those drugs. They're in a class of drugs called selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, SSRIs. Well, your body can make serotonin. And so most of the serotonin, 90 to 95%, is made in your gut. So you want higher levels. That's what those drugs do. They keep the levels in your body higher, and that helps anxiety and it helps depression. But your gut can make a lot of that. But if your gut is unhealthy because you're adding junk and the microbiome is off the charts, you're not going to naturally make these things that make you feel good. I can eat certain things, and within a few moments, I'm thinking, like, why did I do that? I knew it was going to taste good going down, but, my mood just plummets. And you'll note there are certain things that lift you up, certain things that bring you down. It's not in your head. There's a physiologic basis for this. So food would be the very first thing, and not just for you, everybody in your household. If you can talk your spouse, your parents, your kids, your friends, family into making some swaps, healthy swaps, you can literally help prolong their lives. That's how powerful that is. That would be number one for me.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. I mean, the microbiome is so important, as you mentioned, and all these things that we're taking in, like they're making postbiotics, right? Things that are responsible for how we feel, like our hormones, our transmitters, all these things are so important. And being able to take control of that plate, because it's something we're already doing, right? We're already eating, right? So how can we just make those
Yeah,
small improvements, right? As opposed
absolutely.
to starting a whole new routine, like going to the gym, which of course, like do that. But I feel like starting with the nutrition, what we're already doing, it just makes it a lot more graceful and a great starting point as well. So
I agree. I like to tell people to create SMART goals. So SMART, S is specific, M measurable, A achievable, R relevant, T time bound. So let's say you want to eat more vegetables. Specifically, you want to eat more green vegetables. M measurable, you want to eat 3 servings of broccoli a week. A achievable, there's a store down the street. R relevant, it can decrease your risk of cancer and many other things. T time bound, try it for a week, reassess. So make yourself SMART goals over and over. Don't try to eat this huge elephant in one gulp. You're going to choke and you're not going to make it. So go step by step. Create a SMART goal. You can create one like now and see that through, and then do your next SMART goal. Stack it. Habit stacking can be profound. In the course of 3 months, you can find that you've transitioned from a lifestyle that's likely to take 15 years off of your life to one that's likely to add 10 years to your life.
absolutely, habit stacking is such an important thing, right? Because we're doing something, how can we make it better? How can we just add on top of that? And that's how we make progress over time and start to build that
Mhm.
momentum. Like
Yes.
it's like taking what we're doing and just making those small tweaks, how to like build that momentum, reach our goals.
Mhm.
Very important. So you mentioned avoiding toxins, which is a huge thing in today's world. Like it's everywhere. It's like
Yeah.
personal care products. It can be nutrition. It can be really in places that we don't really understand. It can be hiding in plain sight. So if we want to kind of start that in a sense, like what can we do? Because there's so many different places we can look at. But where would you have people start?
I would go to ewg.org. One day I brought together my toothpaste, my deodorant, the laundry detergent, all of these things. I set them on my desk. I went to ewg.org and I plugged them in one at a time. Okay, this has this chemical that's an endocrine disruptor. This has this chemical that may exacerbate eczema. This may be cancer causing. EWG.org has a database. It doesn't tell you every single product in the world, but it tells you information about a lot of the most commonly purchased products. And once you learn what you're putting in your skin, what you're putting on your skin is your largest organ. Just imagine the lotion, the perfumed lotions. Perfume should be a red flag chemical. So between what you put under your arms, you brush your teeth with, you wash your hair with, you inhale when you're cleaning up your home, all of those things, they build up. So if you go to ewg.org with everything that you use, that you clean with, that you bathe with, that you do everything with, that you could smell, rub in, however it can get into your body, and you go through that, I promise you when you're done, you will have tossed a lot of your favorite products. Nothing is perfect. I like to go as natural as possible. So I get a big jug of organic coconut oil. I don't cook with coconut oil because it's full of saturated fat, but I could if I wanted to because it's edible. But for coconut oil, you can use that as your lotion. 100% organic, natural. You can use it to add sheen to your hair. And if you need to use it, you're cooking, you can use it every now and then. But that one container of organic coconut oil I can eat it. I can apply it to my skin. I can do my hair. I mean, all sorts of things. And so you'll be surprised when you start investigating that there are so many natural things out here that can replace what you're using that's much safer and often even cheaper.
Yeah, so many uses for that, right? It's just like, of course, we can handle some things, but like you mentioned, it's everywhere. It's like it's probably in most of the things that we're using. If we start to remove that toxic load in a sense, give ourselves a break, like have more stability, you actually realize how much better we feel. Because a lot of these things are endocrine disruptors, like disrupt our hormonal system, our nervous system, all these things we don't understand. Like it
Yeah.
can be a huge contributor to overall disease and just low level energy. So very
Mhm.
important to take control of for
Absolutely.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, do you
Couldn't agree
find
with
like
you
a lot
more.
of people like they take control of their diet and all these things, but they just like kind of like don't care at all about personal care products?
And that's huge. People don't really stop to think that, I mean, look at your skin. I mean, you use lotion because it's absorbed and it makes your skin look and feel better. But you're absorbing all of these toxins into your body. People don't really think about that. You use deodorant every day. You brush your teeth every day. I use baking soda sometimes. My teeth look and feel better with baking soda than with the chemicals that I used to use, the toothpaste. So there's just so much out there that we have to learn. And if we do learn these things, we apply these things, we are minimizing our risk of not only diseases, but generally how we feel. You don't want a toxic burden. We're not petri dishes. We're not meant to take all these chemicals that they made in the lab and you throw it all together in a petri dish and you get what you get and don't get upset. There's so much that we could be doing differently to move the needle in the direction of health and away from disease.
Yeah, a lot of times, like you mentioned, we get better results because we're actually working with our biology instead of against it. And
How
a
the
lot of
body was
times,
meant to work.
yeah, I mean, a lot of times we're looking at aesthetics, right? And it's like what's on the external. But ultimately,
Mhm.
over time, if we just use these chemicals, that's going to actually make that even worse, like because we're not working
Yeah.
with the biology in a sense. But doing things that we've been using for thousands of years, it's a lot more effective, and you feel better in the process too.
Absolutely. That's why lifestyle medicine, it is phenomenal. I mean, I cannot tell you how many prescriptions I wrote in nearly 30 minutes as a clinician, 30 years as a clinician. But as I look back, just the thought of how many of those prescriptions would have never been written if we had known all of this information and we could have moved the needle in the direction of let me help you prevent this disease and not focus on this is the pill to take once you get it, because pills expensive, they have side effects. I cannot tell you how many people I admitted to the hospital with drug interactions, accidentally overdosing on medications, taking too many. Why are we doing that to ourselves? If we can prevent things naturally and often treat things naturally with your physician alongside, of course, then why are we going in a path that, okay, if I develop this disease, no worries. Mom had it, dad had it. I just take a pill. We need a mindset shift.
Yeah. It's a paradigm we've always operated with. If something's wrong, that must mean I need a pill. Instead of, hey,
Yeah.
what is it that I'm doing? It is a
The
mindset
root
shift.
causes.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like the societal thing. It's like, oh, this is what we do. We wrap the medicine cap in. It's like,
Yeah.
of course, these things have their place, but it's like, what is it that I need to shift in my life and taking? That's what
Mhm.
responsibility is ultimately. It's like, taking the power back.
Yes.
Yeah. So you also talk about internal medicine. Like, what are the similarities with that, and how would you describe that, um, and how that can be applicable on a day-to-day basis?
So internal medicine basically is taking care of adults. So most of my career I spent as a hospitalist. That's a hospital-based position. So, a lot of doctors, they don't have the time to see you in the office and then leave and go to the hospital. I mean, if you're in the hospital and there are 20 people in the office waiting to see him, he can't leave because you have chest pain. Somebody needs to be there. And so now we've kind of split the systems in America to a significant extent that some doctors work in the office, some doctors work in the hospitals. I was a hospital-based doctor most of my career. I worked in the office for a short portion. And so basically, you get sick whether you have chest pain, stroke symptoms, pneumonia, bronchitis, I mean, you name it. Internal medicine doctors, internists, as opposed to interns, which are newbie doctors, internists, we basically take care of adults.
God, it makes sense. Because even if like all these diseases that we think about, it starts right now, right? Like what we're doing, it doesn't just happen in older age. It's like who we are to be, we're not becoming based off the decisions that we make. So it's like not only are you preventing disease, but we're also optimizing right now. That's like I feel like it's a mindset shift as well. It's like oh, I'm good right now, but in the future I'll do something to get well, right? But reality is you're gonna start to feel better in the moment, and you have more energy to make your dreams a reality, have better relationships, all these things, and yeah, you just gotta own this moment.
I'd like to share a couple of things with you based on what you just said.
Yeah, just do it.
In medical school, they taught us about the autopsy studies of teenagers who were in car wrecks that already found the makings of coronary disease, blockage of the arteries, that decades later would often take their lives. Well, if they weren't already dead. But the point is that this starts when we're young. The disease starts manifesting when we get older. I had a patient, William, from Poda, Tennessee, a preacher. I remember sitting on the side of the bed with him at the VA hospital. He was right next to the door. I'll never forget this scene. His lungs were filling with blood from lung cancer. And I sat on the bed next to him, and he said, Doctor, if I had known what I was doing smoking those cigarettes, I never would have done it. And there are so many people like him. They're like, Daddy smoked till he was 80 years old. He didn't get lung cancer. My uncle smoked. He was 95. We rationalize until we're the one in William's situation saying, if I had only made different choices, I'll never forget him. And I tell this story often because I want people to understand this is so very real. Your future is based in a tremendous part on your present. The choices that you make today and tomorrow and the next day may decide how many days you have on this earth, and not just how many days you have. We can keep people alive on a ventilator in a nursing home, unable to get up and do anything. Healthspan, how many years of your life are spent in health, is completely different from lifespan. You can prolong a life, but if there's no quality in that life, what's the point?
Right. Yeah. There's a difference between healthspan and lifespan, right? It's how long you live is lifespan. But most of us, we're not living longer, we're dying longer. We have these chronic diseases for decades, and we're
Yeah.
not really living. Like healthspan is like enjoying the years and actually, functioning during those years and being, healthy and living the life that we actually want to.
Yes. And we all want that. Nobody wants to be nursing home bound and people have to come and change your diaper. I mean, you have that kind of power. You can dramatically decrease your risk of a stroke or heart attack, multiple forms of cancer, but you have to act. You have to start now and don't wait until the doctor says, okay, you have prediabetes or okay, you have cancer. Maybe it's small enough to completely cure. Don't wait till then. Start now.
Yeah. Because we have these strange ideas of aging and it's just terrible, right? And it doesn't have to be like that. Again, it goes back to paradigms and these beliefs that we're just kind of grown up with. And it can be a much more graceful process and much more enjoyable. Like you don't have to like succumb to all these terrible things. You can actually become a wise elder in a sense and kind of like show people how you
Absolutely.
got there.
Yes.
Another thing I thought about is like 40% of kids have like a chronic disease these days, going back to like how he starts right now. And it's like very insane. Like it's like, even when you take a little chronic, it's supposed to be a long time, but they're like very young when they get these. And it just like it goes to show how much like the deck is stacked against us in terms of our health and wellness.
But we have so much more control than we take. It's easy to stop at the fast food restaurant and get something on the way home. But I would like to challenge the listeners to set up your kitchen for success, whether it's getting a new crock pot because the old one is chipping, an air fryer, there's so many things you can do. Set up your living space, anticipating living a long time. I recently started doing air fried. I'm a vegetarian, but my husband and kids, they eat chicken and fish. So I got an air fryer. I recently just went to Chat GPT and I said, how does Chick-fil-A make their chicken? And it gave me a recipe. You soak the chicken, you marinate the chicken in pickle juice, and you add this, this, and this. And my kids were like, wow, that's better than Chick-fil-A. Chat GPT will take whatever ingredients you want, however you want to cook it. I want to boil it. I want to air fry it. I want to do whatever else. What are your favorite flavors? Put that in there. You can get your recipes to live healthier. So you set yourself up for success. You get those containers, the glass containers, throw away the plastic, the glass containers that you can put in the freezer, in the oven, in the refrigerator, and you batch cook. So you make food in batches. And so you've put several containers in the freezer of something that's very healthy. So you take it out the night before, thaw it in the refrigerator, you get home the next day, voila, you have another healthy meal. If your mind is saying, I don't feel like cooking, I'm tired, that's your fix. So there are things that we can do to shift our mindset away from this is convenient to this is healthy, it's already there, it saves me money.
Yeah, batch cooking, just getting those things like readily available, right? Because a lot of times we're on the go, and a lot of times like people may not have time to cook all these amazing things. So they just
Mm-hmm.
like get some random thing, but if they do that,
Yeah.
then they'll have it on hand, and it's valuable to us. Well, just to be able to keep these habits as much as we can in terms of consistency, very important.
So we're all going to fall up every now and then. Everybody likes their French fries and other things. But, if you go from 80% takeout food to 20% takeout food, you could literally be adding years to your life
Yeah, 100%.
and life to years.
Yeah, you got to celebrate that success and
Yes.
setting up yourself for success in terms of your environment. Like, that's a good point because we try to change our diet, but yeah, we still have the things in our cabinet, and
Mhm.
it's a lot harder to eat ultra processed food if it's not around because then you have to go out and get it. It's like you have to
Yes.
really want it. But if everything is like set up for your goals, it's like you just make things an automatic, and these are like these tiny
Mhm.
things. Like it's like I make progress and ultimately be more productive in terms of your goals too.
Mhm. Yes. You have the power.
That's what it's all about. I mean, in terms of the power, it's like we we externalize our choices a lot. Like we think about there's so much information out there, right? How do we make these sound decisions for us, right? Because
Mhm.
there's so many different things from everyone saying that you do this, you do that. And I like to say it always goes back to your internal guidance. Like what are your goals? What is your state of health? What is your state of mind? And ultimately taking some self-assessment too. Like where are you? Like what's your state of health? What are your goals? Like and that's how you ultimately filter those decisions. Like, what are
Mhm.
your thoughts on that? Like, how do we filter all this information to actually make it relatable to us?
I think that there's a tremendous amount of information out there. So use reputable sites, reputable people, and also listen to your body. For instance, right now, if I were to go and have a white bread sandwich, I'd feel horrible because my body has gotten used to all these natural whole foods. It doesn't want to go back and it lets me know, don't do that again. For instance, something else, find what works for you. Pineapples, fresh pineapples, I eat those. My mood goes up, my energy goes up versus, a white bun, it tanks. And so your body gives you messages. Listen to your body. Look at your bowel habits. If you feel very bloated, you're constipated, you're straining, you're just feeling sluggish, you don't feel good, and you ate X, Y, and Z on this day, and the next day you eat a kale salad with fresh strawberries, blueberries, balsamic vinaigrette with extra virgin olive oil, so on and so forth. and you have all this energy and you can focus better at work, your body is giving you signals. Listen to what your body is telling you. What works for me may not work for you. It may be something completely different. We're built differently. But pay attention to what your body is trying to tell you.
Yeah, it's such an important skill to learn. Listen to our bodies. And the problem is there's so much static online these days due to just so many distractions, right? And a lot of these ultra
Mhm.
processed foods, they kind of mess up that internal communication so we can actually know what we want. And like there's a vanishing caloric density, right? So eating all these calories with no nutrition in there, right? So just like,
Mhm.
oh, I didn't get the thing I want. So it's like you're hungry like very soon afterwards.
Absolutely. So just imagine if your stomach is not this big, but let's say that your stomach is this big. And just imagine eating kale and sweet potatoes and all these other fruits and vegetables, and your stomach stretch receptors, like, hey, I'm full. Now compare that. Let's say that we have 300, 400 calories there. Compare that to eating something without much bulk, a double cheeseburger or French fries. And so instead of being this full, your stomach may be this full, and it's saying, I'm still hungry, because you don't have the stimulation of the stretch receptors that let you say, okay, I'm full, stop. So just think of the volume of the food that you take in. On one hand, you have this huge bowl of salad and vegetables and maybe a little bit of chicken breast in it. And on this hand, you have something that's a third of the volume with a tenth of the nutrition. Your stomach is not going to stretch. It's going to say, I'm hungry. Feed me more. Something else that people need to understand. Food scientists know how to create foods with just the right combination of sugar, salt, fat, or the other junk they put in, or foods that when you eat these foods, messengers are sent to the same pleasure centers of the brain as those stimulated by sex, by opiates. And so it's like a manufactured addiction. You eat these, you feel so good, you want more, you feel good. Your waistline is growing, your arteries are clogging, but it's so good, you keep eating it. Don't go for it. Realize what is being done. They are getting rich. And guess what? Once you develop these diseases, Big Pharma is like, here's the pill. You have this disease. I can help you. Other people are getting rich. And we keep falling for all of these messages. I've got to have this. This tastes good. I need more and more. I'm going to die earlier, but it's going to be good while I die. Think through your decisions. Who is most concerned about you? You are. It's not the food manufacturers. It's not the pharmaceutical companies. Pharmaceutical companies, they do wonders. Drugs can save lives, but if you don't need the drugs, if you could make the decisions that prevent you from needing the drugs, do it.
Yeah. Yeah, they use that gas chromatograph, right, to like make all these flavor sensations. Basically, having a strawberry flavor without any strawberries in it. It's very interesting. They can make you addicted to their product so easily, and just unfortunate. It's like we can trick ourselves, but you really can't trick the body. Like it
And
knows.
I'm sorry, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I was just gonna say like your body knows. It does know, even though it's like it's just very deceiving, but
Mhm.
ultimately you can't fool nature at in the end.
And once you get used to eating more natural foods, when you start eating the junk, your body's going to revolt. For those of you who have a sweet tooth, like I do, something that I love stevia. I don't know if you can see this. Stevia is a plant, 0 calories. And I put it in coffee. I put it in everything. I can make cookies with stevia. My kids will eat them. I can make sweet potato casserole. My kids will eat it. So I carry stevia every place I go. My husband jokes, he gets little packets. He goes and looks them in my medicine cabinet with my cosmetics and so forth. Oh, I found one. But when you see me, you're going to see stevia. But if you shift your mindset from sugar to stevia, you could save, I don't know how many thousands of calories a year just by redoing your seasoning and just thinking through what you can do differently.
Yeah. Isn't stevia like 100 times sweeter than sugar as well?
Oh my gosh. Yes, it's either 100 or more. This container has 630 servings, and it could fit inside of my palm. So it's super sweet, and you can really make your stuff sweet and not add any calories.
Yeah. I
And
believe,
it's a plant, and you can even get it in the organic form.
yeah. Like the difference is I think it gets the sweetness from like antioxidants though. Is that right?
I'm not sure how it gets the sweetness, but I know I love it, and I very rarely will use sugar.
Yeah.
I don't even know if we have any sugar downstairs.
Yeah. Like monk fruit as well, right? All these sweeteners, like,
Yeah, monk fruit,
yeah.
and natural stuff. And I mean, honey is good. Honey has some very nutritious substances in it, but just get away from that white processed sugar as
Yeah.
much as you can.
Yeah. I mean, like there's so many different issues they can get from that, like AGEs, right? Like the acronym AGE, Advanced Glycation End Products. Basically, the sugar binding
Oh,
the protein and damaging it. It's
yeah,
very unfortunate.
yeah. Associated with diabetes, dementia, certain cancers. Something else you can do to decrease your AGEs, advanced glycation end products, is cook with something acidic, lemon juice or vinegar. Um, don't let, if you're making things in the skillet, don't let it just sit there. Keep turning it over. Don't use extremely high heat. Don't use dry heat. So advanced glycation end products, you may start with something healthy. By the time you finish it, you've increased your risk of dementia and diabetes.
Yeah.
Not even.
There's little tweaks to our cooking. It's like, it's a skill in itself, right? Because we just started this process and we don't realize how much we can actually do to make these decisions. Going back to empowerment,
Absolutely.
it's like there's so much action on the table that we can be taking in order to improve our health.
Mhm.
Like we can be facing certain decisions and certain symptoms in our lives, right? And I feel like opening yourself to what's possible in terms of our actions, it can be very empowering because then, hey, actually, there's something I can do here instead of just being a victim,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah,
And there aren't enough doctors and nurses to take care of people, but why do we put ourselves in a situation that we end up at the doctors over and over? 80% of business are due to lifestyle related conditions. And so we can help save our lives, prolong our children's lives, help our friends and family. We have that kind of power. It's at our fingertips. We just need to learn reliable information and put it to work.
100%. We can either be a victim or a victor of our reality, right? We can be a victim in
Yes,
terms of like blaming external circumstances and things like that. It's just we're giving away our power, and we don't have control over that.
absolutely.
But being a victor, it's like, hey, I'm going to take agency over this. I'm going to believe in possibility, even if I don't know how. I'm going to take those actions to have faith in the process. You have to trust and just
First
move as you
step.
go. Yeah, for real. I mean, it all starts with us. It's key. So, do you find that along this process, like once we're going along it and people are coming up against challenges, and maybe they're just feel discouraged, right? Like maybe they're facing some type of disease. Like, what do you say to them in terms of like, how do you stay on a path and put all these things together and keep that momentum as you go along your journey?
I created a model, a reframing model called the clarity model. Um, and so it's basically about reframing. So C is choose. Choose what you want. Choose the future that you're thinking of. What specifically do you want? L is leverage. What about you? What's intrinsic to your personality? What can you do to leverage things to move in that path? A is align. So align your choice with something else going on in your life. Bring those two things together. R is reframe. Instead of, I had a double cheeseburger with fries and a chocolate shake today, I'm never going to make it. Say, this was the first meal this week that I did not eat healthy. So I have the potential to do better. This is not a failure. This was information. So never claim failure. I is imagine yourself on the other side when you reach your goals. T is target. So target something specific that you want to do differently. Y is yank yourself back into reality, which you can do if you find yourself getting discouraged, depressed, thinking, I can't do this. Pull yourself back. So with the clarity model, then that is like a reframing model that helps you think through where you want to go. We all get discouraged sometimes. We all think, oh, why am I even bothering? I did not exercise 5 days this week. I'm never going to get it right. Reframe it. They say you have a lemon, make lemonade, reframe every failure and make it a learning experience. So the next time you do better, and think about the positives. Don't put the negatives first. Don't say, I failed because I had this horrible meal. Say, most of the week, I ate wisely. And so put the positives first, and that makes you rethink things.
I love that. Yeah, failure is feedback, right? Don't change the goal, change the approach. And just learn from these things instead of like, oh, this is it. No, just like start to build that internal resilience. Like, how can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? How can I embrace it? And that's how you keep that journey going, right? It's like, it's not about being perfect. It's about progress. And there is no
Absolutely.
there. Like, there's no there. Is ultimately all you have is right now. And I feel like the paradox of success is to accept where you are and always strive for more, right? Because I feel like the nature of life is growth. And just being able to move along and just kind of enjoy the process too.
Moving forward, not backwards. That's the goal.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I feel like, cause not everything is your fault, but I feel like it's your responsibility. Like, because like there's so many different things that happen, right? But it's like, what are we going to do? Like taking 100% responsibility to me, that's like, okay, this happened. Now I get to decide what happens next. I may not like this, but taking back the power is like, okay, what can I do now? And understanding like all these things that can help forward your character, right, in order to live the life you're meant to lead. So you start to embrace these things. It's kind of that's the way I look at it too. So in terms of like that method, it's like I feel like there's so much tools within there, right? Because it's very empowering, and I feel like a lot of this goes back to our mind and how we start to embrace these things.
Hmm.
And we're going along these things, and we have to trust the process, right? And maybe we're taking control for health or dealing with some type of condition. Like, how can we start to shift our mind in a sense? Because what I see is a lot of us, we don't understand that healing is even a possibility. Like, we just think it's just how it is. Like, how can we start to move out of that and see
Let me
more
give,
possibility?
let me give you a couple of examples. So they did studies on women with breast cancer and men with prostate cancer. They were already diagnosed. Those who followed the pillars of lifestyle medicine, and they were serious about it, lived longer. And so even if you have a diagnosis as significant as cancer, and even if one day in the future it may take your life, the quality of your life and the length of your life could still be adjusted based on your decisions. Type 2 diabetes, once felt you have it, you know, it's not going to go well for you. We now know that by intensively following lifestyle medicine practices, a lot of type 2 diabetics, particularly those who've only had it for a few years as opposed to those who've had it for 25. But by following the lifestyle medicine, a lot of these people are coming off of their medicine. I mean, even insulin, hypertension. You may have already had a stroke. You do these things, you may be able to control your blood pressure with little medication. I mean, it just goes on and on. Heart disease. A whole food, plant predominant diet is the only diet in the world that's been shown to reverse the blockage of the arteries in the heart. I don't mean you go from 99% blockage to 1%, but I'm saying that they did studies. I think it was Dr. Dean Ornish, that they did the cardiac catheterization where they squirted the dye in or look at the blockage of the arteries. And they put people in two different groups. In one group, they did the status quo, all the drugs, standard of care. The other group, they were focused on lifestyle medicine. Fast forward years, the group that embraced lifestyle medicine had less blockage than at the beginning, versus the group that took all the right drugs. They had more blockage. Heart disease is the leading killer in America and many other places. So that gives you hope that just by making changes to your lifestyle, changes to your food, stress reduction, exercise, all of those things, you can actually cause regression of a disease whose natural course is to get worse and worse and potentially be fatal.
I love that. So just looking for examples of what healing looks like, right? Because a lot of us, we don't understand, like, there's probably someone who was healed from this. We just have to look for that and look for different examples and believe in possibility, like believe that's possible. And your actions will start to reflect that based off how we think.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I like to say it's not that the solution doesn't exist, it's that we're not receptive to the solution based off a current paradigm. So
There you go.
yeah, you got to ask, shift the questions. Like a lot of us are asking, why me? Why is this happening? All these things, and when we start to shift it, to like, what would it look like if I cook it well? Just be curious. Like, how can I start to change these decisions? How can I start to think differently? And from there, you start to perhaps put a plan together. Right, start to be strategic in your path. Like, what are your goals? Like, where do you want to be? And perhaps work with someone, right? Because working with someone who's walked the path through and has know all these things, it's going to be very empowering and help you along the path a lot faster, right?
Mm-hmm.
And start to pinpoint certain issues, right? Because a lot of us, we're dealing with things we don't understand. Maybe you should do some testing and start to pinpoint that issue, and you start moving in the right direction. And before you know it, you're going to reach your goals, and you're going to be a lot happier in the process.
Yes.
Because like being in the States, like a victimhood for a sense, it's like we're not doing anything to move out of that. We're just kind of like sitting in this disempowerment, and I feel like stagnant energy breeds pollution, right? So you start put things in motion, start to put things in action, and it's like it's a lot more enjoyable, and you start to be a light and a mile for what's possible too.
Yes.
So in terms of lifestyle medicine, is there anything else that could be kind of applicable to people today? Like, because I'm thinking about the individual who's struggling, right? Maybe we're just kind of dealing with certain issues. Like, what can we do to start to kind of shift certain habits, but also reach our goals in that process?
Sitting is the new smoking. So if you're sitting for long periods of time, even if you run several times a week, you're still going to have a lower life expectancy. A lot of us work at home. I work at home now. I'm a health coach and I work at home. But you've got to get up, keep it moving. Every 30 or 60 minutes, get up and do something. Sometimes I am on the treadmill. I stick the treadmill under my desk. I lift the desk up and I'm typing as I'm walking. And then time goes by, these endorphins kick in. I feel better. My mind is clearer. I've gotten more accomplished. I'm happier and my mind is better. So you need to think about where you are right now. What are you doing? What are your obstacles? Your obstacles to a better diet, your obstacles to stress reduction, your obstacles to sleeping well, your obstacles to, strong relationships, movement, meaningful movement. Where are you right now? And what can you do one step at a time? What SMART goal can you create today that's going to flip one habit, and then next week, another SMART goal? One habit. Don't try to do it all at once. Create a list of your goals. What do you want to accomplish by, let's say, 6 months from now? List multiple things. Do each one at a time. Your SMART goals. You may not be perfect, but look at yourself 6 months from now and see how much you've accomplished.
That's what it's all about. Yeah, having that movement and like having basically strategic ways of walking, or maybe doing some qigong, right? Doing some rebounding. All these things throughout the day can help you feel a lot better, because a lot of us, again, we're stagnant. But even like the lymphatic system, right, actually requires to be moved in order for it to work properly. So transport immune cells throughout the body and basically getting everything working in proper order. And it doesn't work unless you move. So it's very important to understand that.
Movement matters. Movement is medicine.
Yeah, 100%. All right, Dr. Hester, this has been awesome. I really appreciate you today for coming on the show, sharing your story with us, and everything we can do to get well, because there's so much empowerment we can do. And we start to open ourselves to possibility. We start to shift the internal world. We can see different results in the external world, right? And basically taking back our actions. Because whether it's sleep, nutrition, exercise, there's so much we can do. And again, it's not about being perfect, but it's about progress and how we can take those small daily wins, how we can make those actions on a day-to-day basis. That's really going to change the trajectory of our lives, right? Because if we start to see how we're doing things and maybe project out in the future, it's like, hey, this is going to definitely influence our health. And like I said, who we are to be, we're now becoming. And as long as we're doing the same things, we're going to get the same results. Want different results? Now focus on that action for real. All right, Dr. Hester, it's been an honor and I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
If people want to get connected with you and everything that you do in terms of internal medicine and all your amazing work, where can we find you?
Well, my website is ptrreset.com. P is for prevent, T treat, R reset.com. And I have some online courses there, lifestyle medicine courses and others. And also I have a lifestyle medicine app that just came out on studio.com. It's an AI centered health coaching app that has my videos, audios, content, and so forth. So people, it's like you have your health coach in your pocket 24/7. So that's on studio.com.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.